Hello, welcome to the Well of Being. This is Melissa, intuitive healer, guide, and channel. I am here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona, amidst all of the magic and the vortexes and the portals. And of course, as we know, when we enter sacred spaces, it opens us to receive. And as it opens us to receive, it also opens us to receive clarity around what we need to shift and open to further receive and expand to the next level. So one of the experiences I have almost every time I venture solo is that magical mix between guidance that comes from an external source and guidance that comes from within. And I've noticed how I really struggle. I may not have fully admitted it to myself until now, but it has been a struggle because there's been part of me that wants like, no, you're not allowed to use an external source. Follow your intuition. And then something will happen. We'll have an experience where my mind starts to kick in more of that fear-based, and it's like, you don't know where you are and you need to check in. And I mean, there are so many stories. I created some really elaborate experiences. The most dramatic was in the Grand Canyon in 2022, chasing lightning-struck trees near sunset. And in all of the circumstances, what always evolves is a beautiful mix of both my intuition and the external source, which could be, map technology, trail maps, something like that, following guideposts, all different sorts of things. So the piece that I've really opening up to today is my own recognition of what has been, until this moment, a struggle. As a background, some of you may know that I was a traditional Western physician, and before that, I went to school for molecular biology, so I was a girl who was very rationally minded and memorized many, many details in order to survive academia. And I excelled at it. I was very good at it, but it was everything. Like I did not have any other side of my being that could come through because of the intensity of my focus. In addition, there were aspects of my life that required hypervigilance, so my mind was on high tilt. So when I began to break through and open up in 2007, I went through a phase in about 2009 where I just was like, I'm just done with the rational mind. I'm kicking that to the curb. And I'm done with it. And I needed to, because in order to create space for any aspect of my intuition and spirit to come through, I had to put all of that aside. So, that has been the majority of my journey, is putting that aside and really allowing myself to expand into that. Until now, when I've started to have some subtle and not so subtle signs of like, okay, you're missing details here, girl. You're missing details. You're, following intuitive hunches, and you're blinding yourself to some of the details. So to give you like a hardcore example that showed up today was I had the most magical sunrise hike ever in Sedona, in an area that like the trail begins in a community, and I had read about it the night before, and it said, be really careful where you park because they patrol. And I found a spot that I couldn't see any signs, and I'm like, I think this is fine. I feel it is fine. And I began the hike, and even as I was passing through like the entrance where the trail began, there was a sign like, if you parked anywhere on this red line, you will be towed and ticketed. And that should, again, I got a very clear sign. But, I'm like, no, I'm on this hike. I blinded myself to the red flag. So I had the most magical hike, was totally immersed in it. And of course, long story short, came back to a ticket on my car. Luckily the car wasn't towed, but it was a hefty fine. And it really, really made me pause. And like, what am I missing here? I'm blessed that I can afford to pay the fine, but what am I missing here? So therein is the journey of the realization of today, of after having this experience of intensely opening into my rational mind out of necessity and expanding and exploring all of its gifts. It's good. It's a really beautiful tool, to the point that it, was constricting out any other possibility, and then kicking it to the curb and opening up to my intuition and just denying or ignoring a lot of rational signs that might have been in my way. Today I had this beautiful realization that my mind was like, girl, you're good. You're good. Because part of my resistance to allowing the alignment of my mind to come in is because of a fear that it would constrict and constrain me and shackle me in some way, because that was my experience. But that experience is complete. And this next phase of my journey has always been about, how many times do you hear me talk about alignment? Alignment, alignment, alignment. Everything is about alignment, and that includes its body, mind, and spirit. So the feeling today was this opening between the heart and the mind, and my heart was just so tender, and I had tears. I had some grief that had to come out, and it's interesting, I chose a trail that, after looking some things up later, I didn't realize was it's considered to be the most powerful vortex region here, which is Cathedral Rock. So I thought that was kind of not ironic that I ended up there. I tried to go a different place and it didn't work out because I let my rational mind tell me that I had a car that could not handle what ATVs could do. And I chose a different path. I chose Cathedral Rock. I couldn't climb very high before. I just wanted to sit and cry. And it was just so powerful. And as I descended and I began to have the clarity, my sweet, tender heart was just like, it's safe and it's time to open and align. It's safe and it's time to open and align. To live in such a way where there's this dance, this magical dance between the rational mind and the intuitive mind and the rational mind, the rational mind and the intuitive mind and the irrational mind, and how that can inform so many things. My practical aspect of my hikes, but also, how I'm navigating my life and being a mother of 4 children, etc. So grateful for that experience. I'm going to return tomorrow to that portal because I feel like it has more for me. Like I had to break through somewhere so I could receive the next level. So it's a beautiful, beautiful offering. So I wanted to share it with you because I know it's not just for me, it's for you as well. Tanti okoro ai Seraru aru ai Sanje ke oroko ehe. Sanje hado. Sanje hado. Aro. Aro. Aro guru. Aro guru. Sanje gai aro. Aro. Sanje gai aro. Aro. Sanyagaru aru aru raru. Sanjegai aru aru. Blessings, blessings, blessings.